Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending today's presentation. My name is Michael Bowers of Heed AI Consulting.
Good morning.
Appreciate everybody for being here. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's been very hot lately, so I do appreciate everyone attending, even though you should be at home in the office or someplace cool. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and begin to get started, respecting those who are here on time, not to mention that this will be recorded and available for future viewing. Now, as I mentioned, my name is Michael Bowers, and I am the president of Heed AI Consulting. We work with businesses specializing in helping them find ways to adopt AI for their businesses, find ways to do so, and actually help them implement them, not just consulting. And so, as I said, I've been working in business consulting and sales and marketing, business development for the last, I'm going to head and say it, 30 years. I've been doing this for some time. I work with the companies of all sizes, industries, whether it be entertainment, distribution, retail, does not matter. I've worked with them, all types of businesses, and helping them identify ways to either improve their operations through IT, software, or using technology in any way, as well as recently I've been doing a lot of AI consulting to work with organizations. And I've been doing this since January of last year when ChatGPT first came onto the scene. And since then, I have been working with my existing IT clients as well as any new clients that are looking to adopt AI. And that could be in a variety of ways. There's no one way to use AI for any organization. And so having a consultant come in and work with them has been very key to helping them adopt. I'm also a member of the two largest chambers of commerce here in Southern California, both the Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce as well as the LA Chamber of Commerce. I'm also an ambassador for the San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce for AI when it comes to helping members understand how to use, like present with them quite often. So today we're going to be talking about 5 core elements of a strong business that will definitely help anybody who's looking to sell their business, grow their business. If you're in the business of selling businesses, you're in a great place because I'm going to be discussing how an AI consultation for any business can help with these 5 areas, whether it be customer acquisition, customer development, sales and growth, business operations, the services or offerings. You'd be surprised. You can tap in, you can touch almost any aspect of the business when it comes to working with AI. And so the first area that we're going to go into is customer acquisition. So when a company is for sale or looking to be sold, or someone's looking to buy a company, you're going to be looking for certain components of that business to be healthy, in place, so that you can take over and begin to operate that business with either minimal turn up or the ability to just come right in, get started. If you have to bring someone in, you'll do so. But if you can find these elements in place, they're going to really be important. And the first one I'm going to go into is content creation. And one of the first things that I would do when I work with companies is they want to know, how can we make things better? How can we get more reach and we can improve everything? So typically updating their website or any of their content that they have going out is one of the first things that they're able to do. Tapping into ChatGPT or Claude, any of the other chatbots that exist out there, you can now revisit, update your website without having to rethink everything through. Same thing for your printed materials, for your trade shows, events, anything that you're going out, especially if you're doing a lot of the community engagement or even presentations like this, to create the content that goes into that. The social media, making sure you're on top of that. Everybody likes to deal with companies that they know and understand they feel comfortable with. So when you can do custom social media campaigns that really reach your audience, they're more likely to engage. Talking press releases for public relations. It could be, this could be like a LinkedIn post where you're actually trying to convey a specific message and have it be consistent with your overall brand, as well as just general presentations for whatever you're doing. So being able to create that content using a ChatGPT or a Claude to broaden your vocabulary, your reach, your understanding, appeal to your specific audience. Ideation development is really key that a lot of companies like to take advantage of because it allows you to tap into expertise that you're not already familiar with. Now, this can mean introducing new campaigns for marketing. It could be doing research on your competition, research on your audience, research on products, research on trends to help you come up with ideas to figure out how can I do this? And so using chatbots to really identify what kind of companies are having what kinds of problems and what you can do to solve them or how you can fit into that. These are some of the areas that you can help you with making your ideas, developing your ideas so you can actually implement them. And then creating custom employee chatbots. This is really key to having internal chatbots which have relevant information to help them in their decision making or in their process. So whether they're trying to communicate with a prospect or sending out emails, to have these custom chatbot assistants that have been pre-programmed with your company information and tone can help your your employees create their emails, their social media posts, any of their kind of a content that needs to go out, having their own private chatbots that are based on their job position, their duties and responsibilities, and the company's information can really empower them, as well as making sure they are trained on how to use these chatbots. Prompting and understanding the limitations and asking the right questions are really key to even getting the right information out of chatbots. So working with them to train their individuals, we train whole companies, departments. Training is at the core of it. And then, of course, custom chatbots on your website. Now, I noticed that none of the business brokers' websites that I've gone to had customer-facing chatbots, which is kind of alarming because almost all of them had listings on their websites. They had questions and they had the legacy approach to providing information. But nowadays, people want information right away as soon as possible without necessarily having to research your website and find it. So they can engage and ask questions like, do you have any kind of, I've seen a lot of like nail shops and just storefronts. You can say, do you have any businesses, any storefronts that are available in the Orange County area for under $300,000 that have a positive cash flow of at least $75,000 per year? These are questions that they can engage on your website because the chatbot has been programmed with your actual information about your listings, your services, or even general information on what they need to know about approaching this opportunity. Custom chatbots on your website that can engage with customers and tie into your different systems to create appointments, maybe connect a phone call, send out an email, provide documents, whatever is needed. You can create a custom chatbot that goes on your website that does more than just, hello, thank you for visiting, we're happy to see you. Custom chatbots are really an under-tapped resource that's going to revolutionize any business that has to engage with website visitors. And so for the first business case example we're going to go over is a local bike shop that we're working with here in Burbank. So when I went to go visit the owner, his name is Rob. we were standing there talking about all kinds of potential solutions, just having a consultation. Actually, this was just a conversation before the consultation. I was there to kind of secure the appointment for the consultation. Plus, I'm a cyclist, so I'm always interested in going to a bike shop. The bike shop owner is also a colleague and friend of mine, as I also MC bicycle races. He races, and so we had a connection. So I went into the bike shop to discuss what we're going to talk about during our consultation, and he began to share with me these different pain points that I had not known about walking in. I walked in thinking about how we're going to increase community engagement and what kind of programs you can offer the shop and how we can increase their communications. But he immediately, as I was saying, with he and one of the technicians shared a very specific challenge, and that is people calling in and they're wanting DIY support for getting their projects done. Now, whether that meant, hey, I've got a bent wheel, how do I fix it? How do I true it? So the issue was they're calling and they're getting a technician on the floor, on the phone, taking them off the floor, taking them out of the shop, and now they're asking questions. One of the biggest issues was they could not resolve the issue without seeing the problem, which ended up being a lot of waste of a lot of time because, well, like I said, they're trying to convince them to come in. They're wanting to get free answers so they can try to fix it themselves. They would often hang up, go back to YouTube and try to figure out themselves or try to figure out a different solution. Also, visitors are visiting the website in the middle of the night. People are watching programs, they're talking with friends, and they get inspired in the middle of the night, in the evening when the shops close, or even during the daytime. They go to the website, local bike shop, and they start looking things up, and they're going to see catalog. They're not going to really get an understanding of what's going on in the bike shop. So they may look around and then say, okay, well, now let me go see if I can find this someplace else. Or people will go to the website, have questions, and they would submit the questions, and it would take a while to get back to them because no one's sitting there waiting to respond. So taking all that in, recommending doing a custom chatbot on the website that has multiple agents in it. Now, the way that this works is it's going to be very interesting for a lot of companies because people don't realize that chatbots can really engage with your audience in a way that can replicate human interaction because of the natural language processing and tying into your resources, whether it be your POS system, your calendaring system, what have you. When you're able to do this, you're now able to take them from just visiting your website and looking around to truly engaging with your products, your services, your offerings. And so with him, what we're going to do is have his chatbot, which will tie into Lightspeed, which is the POS system. So now with one of the chat agents, we can now act as a salesperson, we can act as a technician, even act as just basic customer service. And now by tying into Lightspeed, we can make recommendations, allow them to purchase it right then and there. By tapping into QBP, Quality Bicycle Products, their distributor, now you're able to find products that are not organically listed that they already sell, but do exist. And when it comes to bicycles, you can have bicycles from all over the world. So if you're looking for very specific parts, like Campagnolo, or if you're looking for high performance, like say SRAM or Durace, these are products that they may not have in stock, but if you can say, I need this and this size, researching QBP to find it, present it, and then sell it, as well as if you're working with somebody to help them with a service problem, you can now have them book an appointment. And then the last really key ingredient is going to be tapping SMS messaging to engage with the customer. Now you might be saying, well, what's an SMS message going to do when engaging with the customer? So when someone calls in, now transfer that call to an extension, but there's an SMS engagement. With ChatGPT's voice technology, you can now engage with that customer and then get them to chat and text images of the bicycle in, and now they can go back and forth on SMS. And when they send an image of the issue, ChatGPT, the assistant can now recognize that, make recommendations, and either help them, and this is all through programming, help them with the issue, maybe send some information on how to do it themselves, recommend a replacement part, schedule service to have them bring it in, and take a small deposit to make sure that they don't just make the appointment and then not show up and then have that deposit go towards the service. But now this chatbot can now take them from not just engaging and having questions, but to actually convert them into a customer and then bring them into the shop. Very important. It's going to transform how they engage with their clients. And then we're talking customer development. So any business needs to have a way to, once you get a customer, how do you get them to stay a customer? How do you offer them more services and products based on your offerings, especially once you've already gained their trust? As we all know, once we buy one thing from someplace and we enjoy it, we want more. So once again, creating custom chatbots that can now offer customer service, tying them into support, creating service tickets. If you're an IT company or any kind of a service company, by having a chatbot with an API tie into your service desk, whether you're going to connect them with an actual technician, you want to create a service ticket. It's also great for providing them information, white papers, instructions, or videos to help them solve the problems on their own before bringing them in. But also, if they're a customer, you want to create newsletters. You want to maybe create feedback forms, information gathering forms, documents that you want to send out to your existing customers to engage with them and nurture them to maybe take them from one product to another product. But to create the content to do this and then distribute it, you need something like a CRM. Now, many of you will already have solutions like a MailChimp, which would send out mail and things like that. But that will oftentimes be all that they do, or maybe have a few add-ons. When you have a complete CRM solution, we typically like HubSpot or Salesforce. Now you can tie all of your communications into a centralized management solution. Again, if you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, you want to see if this is in place. Do you have a way to engage with your existing customers? How do you take them from, oh, this is interesting, to, oh, I think I want to go ahead and buy, to then purchasing and then upselling them or cross-selling them later? CRMs create that infrastructure to do so, also tapping into your other solutions through APIs, integrations. Now you can make the CRM work for you. It becomes an additional employee on your behalf. Now, that's not even AI. But to build this out, you can use AI to build out your content, your messaging, your strategy, your whole flow, and then creating sales funnels or even marketing funnels. So you come in with one product, say, okay, I got this, but hey, did you know we also offer this? And to have a CRM that can constantly feed your customers relevant information, keeps them engaged, educates them, and takes them on to the next product or service that you have, which goes into the customer journey management. Many organizations don't have a customer journey plan or thought or even know what it is. And this is where AI, specifically solutions like ChatGPT, can help a company with no infrastructure create a customer journey, create personas, so you understand what your customers need. How do they discover what they're looking for? Maybe if someone's looking to buy a business, they may start looking at businesses for sale. They may start looking at what does it take to invest in a company. When you can create this content that helps address these questions, capture their attention, having a chat bot on your website to then say, are you interested in buying a company? What are your concerns? What are you looking for? You want something where you're going to be present? You want something where you're going to be absent? You want to expand your brand? These are different options that when they come to looking for that research, if you put out content that can capture them, answer their questions intelligently, and then draw them in, having chatbots that will connect them into your CRM through a well-crafted marketing campaign drives immediate growth and, of course, expansion. And so I'm taking an example that we have right now that I'm actually beginning to work with the client in 2 days. So Chris is a life and retirement coach, and he's been hired by a bank to work with their employees. And right now, he's tasked with helping them bring their employees in from working at home, something that a lot of companies are dealing with right now. How do we get people in the office? So they want 10 workshops and all the supporting materials so that they can now create these presentations, make them available, have them reproducible for other people out in the field, but based on his knowledge and experience and understanding, they want him to create these 10 workshops. So Chris attended one of our workshops back in March, and we explained how to use ChatGPT to do all of these things. And so now he comes back to us a couple of weeks ago and saying, Mike, I'm ready to get going. I want to use ChatGPT to build these 10 workshops so I can sell them to this client, and it will allow him to sort of create recurring revenue, because as they use it, they will continue to pay him to use it. However, this is going to require a lot of work to be done, and Chris is a little bit older, and so he was interested in using AI to improve the process. But in our conversation, he was sharing with me, yes, I want to use AI to do this, but I am getting a little bit older, and my ability to get things, to learn new things, is not like it used to be. So as much as I want to, I'm going to need you to be patient with me when it comes to learning this. And now, one thing that I've learned and I've identified from working with people who attend my workshops, or actually I speak with other professionals who also do workshops as well, just talking to the folks at Youth LA about their AI training programs. And as anybody who knows understands that there's a lot to learn. And so we want to instinctively teach you as much as possible. However, in almost every event that's been over 3 hours, you can kind of see people's eyes kind of gloss over and they start to drift. It's a lot of information, especially when you're trying to take this information in and use it right away. It is almost impossible. And if I were not such a geek and have been in IT for so long and having the brain conditioning to have to learn things new and apply them right away, I don't know if I would have been able to easily adopt AI as well. But being in it for so long, you tend to get used to working with it. So after the workshop, people tend to say, that was a lot. Okay, I get it, but how do I use it? So we proposed, listen, we'll take the information in, we'll build out the content for him, do the research for him, and then present him with a custom LLM and chatbot that he'll be able to use based on the content that we create. But also, we're going to create the workshops for him. All the forms and all the engagements we're going to create and have him approve, and then teach him on how to use. Now, part of that is going to be using ChatGPT and Claude to have the content sound human, or we're using Perplexity to do the research and gather all this information so that we can now make sure that what we're talking about is current and relevant. And we're talking loneliness. These are some of the subject matter they're looking for. Loneliness, working from home, now working with people once again, conflict resolution. These are all topics that they're wanting to have covered so they can make available to their staff, especially for those who are currently work from home and continue to work from home, or those who they want to have come into the office. So these are all that require current research to identify the trends that people are going through and then how to address them. So that, partnered with Chris's organic experience and 40 years of knowledge, now we're able to produce the content and then also create forms to collect pre and post session content, questionnaires. So by creating these questionnaires in Google Cloud / Google Forms, we also create automation that will send these emails out with the forms, have the users enter the data. When they submit it back, the automation will now take this in, process it through ChatGPT, send Chris a summary of their responses, and allow him to then take that information and engage or craft a specific solution or response to that particular employee or that scenario. So now, not just creating the webinar, not just creating the forms, not just creating the questionnaires, not just creating the flashcards. This is now going to create a complete solution for him, allowing him to focus on what he does. And so as we produce all this content for him, we will then train him so that he can then take it to his management, produce it as a turnkey solution that they can now use for all of their training and staff needs. So sales and growth is the next one. This is a really important one because every company needs to have a way to get new customers. If I'm looking to buy a business, how are you growing? How do you get new customers? Yes, you have customers, but how do you go from where we are right now to expansion? Especially if you have a company, I don't know any company that's not looking to increase their sales. So one of the first things that AI integrations can do is by implementing something like ChatGPT that can allow you to identify and implement new strategies, new frameworks for approaching how you get things done. And then when you do identify a new process, the content that goes with that. Again, presentations, speeches, email campaigns, social media campaigns, and then of course having custom chatbots to assist with analyzing what to do, how to engage. Especially I had a client recently who was asking me about how can you identify opportunities in feedback. And we talked about using, and this is not even a specific scenario, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I will talk about it just a little bit. By being able to take the Yelp responses from your competition, their clients, but taking all this information, putting it into ChatGPT, having ChatGPT act as a research competition expert, understand what the users are saying, what's good, what's bad, what's missing, and then seeing how can you fill that need that is being identified from the different competitions' feedback. It could be your own feedback. It could be just general research. But to then understand what do we do with this information, you can have the information, but if you don't understand it or have any kind of a translation of it, it can be useless or even daunting. So having ChatGPT, chatbots to help you understand how to engage. Also, workflow assistance. So I talked a little bit earlier about how you can have forms be completed, and then when that form is submitted, excuse me, then have that form processed. Now, this requires using tools like Zapier or Make that can create these webhooks that will connect solutions together so they will actually work and engage back and forth and create multiple steps. So once again, as we go in and work with companies and we sit and observe their process, we realize that so many people are either just having to move one thing from one step to the next, and that can be skipped, it can be done incorrectly, it can be forgotten, it can be overlooked. There's so many reasons that opportunities can be missed. And to have this automated and processed and have multiple people engage automatically, that increases your likelihood of closing sales, engaging with clients and prospects, and delivering more value. Another thing is AI solution stack. So there's no one solution that can do everything. ChatGPT or Claude or any of the chatbots alone don't solve all the issues. And there are plenty of fantastic tools out there that can empower any team. And so as we get to work with the management and the department heads and the actual people doing the work, we understand their process. We sit there, we observe, or we do screen shares to observe, as well as questions, and we identify what's being done here. And we have not found a scenario where there was not an improvement that could be done. It could be a matter of using tools like Taplio, which can help anybody be far more engaging on LinkedIn, which is the key to those who are trying to reach other businesses and communicate and connect, making yourself seen and drawing attention to your company, your products, your services, exploring what you have to offer. These are all solutions that if you're not engaging in certain platforms, they can hinder your progress. So identifying the right solutions to do so are really key. Tapio is one of them. And then training and support the sales team to use these solutions. So the solutions themselves don't do things. So a lot of times what we have to do is sit with the team and let them know that, all right, folks, now moving forward for your online engagements, you'll use this particular tool. For creating content, getting information, staying on top of the news, you'll now use this particular tool, which will curate information for you and deliver it to your inbox or deliver it to this one place over here. Could be also recreating content based on what you've already found in your voice. Lots of powerful solutions out there. We work with our clients to identify them, show them how it can work for them, and then train them. And then, of course, reevaluate and find new ways, or maybe a new solution that comes up. There's always something happening. Using internal chatbots, using ChatGPT, or even custom chatbots with a custom interface that use APIs for multiple chatbots like Claude, Perplexity, any of these other tools, they can now be tapped into in a custom interface without going to those websites and still get the power of them through API integration. For those who don't already know, API stands for Application Program Interface. And so by building custom chatbots, it empowers various employees to have various skills and resources at their disposal. And of course, training them how to use it so they can get the most out of it. It could be drafting solutions. One of the really important things is I was just speaking with the Chamber of Commerce, Nancy, this Friday evening, and we were talking about grant writing. She was explaining to me how the person that they usually use was not available. There was a grant that they wanted to have that would help. California was going to help businesses occupy vacant buildings or vacant offices or something along those lines. But she needed to write this grant. And when she went to write the grant, it was too much for her. She was like, I didn't understand it all. And the format and information they were looking for, it was not organic. Explaining how you can turn this, bring this into ChatGPT, have ChatGPT, even creating the custom GPT that's specifically for writing grants and making sure that your proposals fit all that they're looking for in the format, in the structure, in the order that they are looking for. ChatGPT can help you do that. Having your own custom chatbot can also help you do that. Another one, the last one here, is the understanding client sentiments. If I can tell you guys how many times I've had to send a message to somebody and I'm not getting the response that I'm looking for. There's a disconnect someplace. And so, especially when it's a long message, I will take all the messages in the ChatGPT, create a conversation where I can say, here is the message from the client. This is what they said. This is what I want to say. I want to make sure that I am addressing their needs, our needs, and that it all makes sense. So write this email for me. And then have it even modify it so that, you know what, this is a little too direct. This is a little too vague. This is not specific. I'll be sure we're covering everything. And then one of my favorite things at the end of the email is there anything that you would add? Be based on a type of role with specific goals in mind. What else can I add to this email to deliver more value, to make sure that we stand out, to make sure that all of the needs are met, whatever it takes. Having ChatGPT actually provide that insight to take your messaging to the next level is incredibly important. I can go on forever with examples for that. I once had to put together a proposal and I was unsure. I've had this happen several times where I was unsure on how to present it. I had all the geek information about what it would take, but I had to make the prospect understand the value, understand the process. Even when it came to the pricing, I was sort of like stressed out about unsure of how to present this. So having ChatGPT say, I'm like, listen, this is my goal. I want to address their needs. These are our solutions. This is what it's going to take. How do I sell this? Even the pricing. How do I charge for this? And what is this worth? How do I spread it out so that this small business can now afford this and see it as an investment? These are all questions that when I'm engaging with the deal, the prospect, the opportunity, it can now guide me and assist me with helping me make the right decision and create the content to convey what I want to say to them. Really powerful. And so understanding that is going to be super key by having a custom chatbot to help your business grow. So here's an example of sales development that came up when a colleague attended, once again, a workshop back in March. He's an underwriter and works for a global insurance firm, and his specific claims were cyber and business insurance. And so the issue was when his brokers are bringing agreements to him, he has to look through these things and make sure that the wording is clear, that what this particular provider is saying, they're going to make sure they're going to also cover. And because the documents can be so long, 100+ pages, as I'm sure most of you know, if you ever had any kind of an agreement sent to you, sure there's be some small ones. When we're talking insurance, though, it can go on for quite a while. Well, he was having to take so much time to get this done. He's having to work evenings, take things home on the weekends, and that's not how the job is supposed to be. Taking them 2 to 4, even longer hours to go through these agreements, identify the opportunities, and then present it back to the broker to then send to the prospect. Well, we looked at that and said, listen, we can build a custom LLM, a large language model, which means a custom private chatbot that will be based on your company information. And that really meant having all their policies, their procedures, examples of past agreements that they've written, past policies they've had to put together, taking what's important to them to cover their exposure, making sure that the client is also covered, and you're not going to, as you present this new proposal, leave them exposed in any specific area. And it could be a matter of, we will cover any messaging that impacts the productivity. I'm sorry, any messaging that impacts the branding or perception of our business, our service offerings, and making sure that those are covered. Where they may say, all right, we need to have the terminology that says any communications, including but not excluding emails, social networks, live speeches, so that if they say, oh man, we had someone go out and accidentally say that we can make cars fly. We can't make them fly, we just make them faster. But because they said we can make them fly, now we have to backpedal. It's costing us money, and we need something to kind of cover that accident of what was said by the employee and recover that loss. So having a policy that can speak to that and say, listen, any communications that go out, as long as they're trained properly, we will cover that. And however that translates, dollars, cents, resources, when they want to provide the recovery for that, they need to have that written properly, make sure that the pricing is covered, and that when it's other client or other insurance companies saying, we're going to only cover things that are in email and web, but not anything that's said live, this is an area for them, an opportunity for them to cover this outlet and provide coverage for that particular client, now bringing on new business and winning the deal. So by having the ability to analyze the agreements, see the differences, and present the new solution, even writing the new agreement with that specific scenario involved and included, all of this now takes that entire process from being 4 to 6 hours now down to about 1 or 2 hours, improving the overall communication and securing the deal. Now, another component that every business needs to have in place is something that addresses their operations. I mean, every company has got challenges when it comes to dealing with staffing, making things more efficient, or even just repurposing staff, especially as we have automation coming into place. There's lots of things going to be eliminating steps to make it better, but they're going to also be people who are going to be displaced. And so, or even the need to now find new people to get things done. So when it comes to HR and staffing, this is a really powerful tool because many organizations, they want solutions, especially when it comes to hiring somebody new or somebody who does a specific task like marketing or sales or development in any way. And because they don't already do that, HR doesn't really know the questions to ask. And there's time and time again where companies are hiring people because they were able to sell them on a solution, but they're not a great fit. And so having ChatGPT act as an HR assistant and helping the client understand what they need out of the person, creating the right job descriptions. Then when people are submitting their resumes, having to analyze these resumes to make sure people aren't just submitting AI generated responses. Or AI generated resumes, sending relevant questions to them so they can respond. This can be done with a Google form. And then having that data analyzed to say, do they really understand what they're talking about, or are they just copy and pasting from somewhere else? Again, if you have someone who does not already do this job, it could be a manager you're bringing in, senior level position that you're trying to fulfill. Chatbots can help you understand and bring that person on, find the right person, get the right pay for them, and then even set the tone up for how they're going to work. The requirements, expectations, so now everybody is happy. I've had a few clients where they've spent thousands of dollars because they're either sold on somebody, they just say, this gotta be okay, this has gotta be right. They just trust the resume, they get them in there, they've wasted time, they've wasted money, potentially lost opportunities, and it ends up costing them dearly. So having a chatbot that can help you with that, even when it comes to managing policies and procedures. I have another client, the CFO, he's also responsible for risk management and HR and so many different areas because, well, he takes it on. There's been multiple opportunities or multiple situations where they needed a policy or a defined procedure, as opposed to saying, hey, figure it out or find the best way, using ChatGPT to tap into the learned policies for managing situations within organizations where instead of just going off of what you think or assuming that people are going to make the best decisions, creating these policy procedures so you can have them implemented. Really powerful. Management of conflict resolution. How do you get people motivated? How do you get people to work together? Engaging with the chatbot to get ideas and the solutions for doing so. Incredibly powerful. Also, as we go with organizations, we come in for consultations. The first thing we do is observe. Well, not the first thing. After we have the conversation about what they want to get done, we then begin to observe the processes and look for inefficiencies. We've had multiple clients say, we've got inefficiencies everywhere. How do we essentially stop the bleeding? This process is supposed to take about an hour. It's taking a half a day. How do we get that back down to a reasonable process, or even processes that are so time consuming or mental bandwidth consuming that people are not able to get it done? They're skipping it. They're half stepping. They're not doing everything they're supposed to. Finding ways to improve that, take out the need to remember to do stuff so things are automated. Finding ways to cut this 10-step process down to 4 and delivering the same value, if not more. So ideas on workflow automation, and then even incorporating intelligence into that automated workflow. So once again, you can have a form come in, have that form be sent to a ChatGPT assistant, understand that they are looking for a particular solution or this is their need, and then respond back with the data, a report, a response. But that workflow can be automated through tools like Zapier and Make.com, where they can create webhooks and APIs that talk to each other, expediting the process. And of course, custom chatbots to assist their employees to help to get their jobs done faster. We're already seeing right now where fast food companies are looking to employ chatbots for voice, that can actually listen to orders, because you realize, hey, listen, this person is literally just listening, hitting buttons on a keyboard, and then processing that order. Well, now AI can listen to that, repeat the order, and process it. So now the order is going to be far more consistent, and there's less of a need to have to continue to hire people calling in sick, not getting it right. You can also now support people who have been repositioned from a particular job to now do something new by having a chatbot that can help them understand their new task. What is this, and why is the customer asking for that? Oh, now they have intelligent responses they can give. Where they didn't do this last week, now they can. So empowering employees to get more done and be able to provide or do the same job that either more talented people would do in the past, or maybe a one person did because they're the business owner. Now you can put other people in place, which is something that we're doing specifically for another client, which I'm going to get into next. But right now, as we just applied for or responded to a request for a proposal, the state of California is having issues with employees who do actuaries, or I should say they're actuaries who are employees, who are reviewing insurance claims, insurance fraud claims for the state of California. Now, this is important because if you're doing business, or if you live in the state of California, the state has an insurance fraud board that will review when you make a claim against an insurance company. I got a car insurance, I got into an accident. They're saying that they're not going to cover because the car is parked and someone ran into it and kept going. So now they don't want to pay. So you would file that complaint. Well, in order for that complaint to be processed, an actuary has to go through and read it, see what was said, see what was promised, see your claim, see what's mismatching, see what's wrong, and then make a recommendation. Well, during COVID, first of all, this job is not fun, it's not exciting, so it doesn't really attract new and young talent. No one wants to go into being an actuary, or there's very, very few people who do. And so those who have done it for years, they've been retiring recently. And so COVID has gotten people to where they just don't want to do things anymore. And so the impact has been the state's been getting backed up on getting these claims processed, and now fraud continues to happen with no repercussions because there's no one to, well, process that and see that they are either not saying, they're not doing what they said they were going to do, they're intentionally writing their policies in an incorrect way, causing all kinds of issues for the residents of California. And this would be any state, really. So what we're proposing is to build a custom large language model, an LLM, that will have chatbots that will go to new employees or employees that are the hired and now going to be trained to use the chatbots and take this process. Claims come in through automation, have it sent to a ChatGPT assistant based on the training that we're going to provide for to take both sides of the agreement into account, produce a report, and now someone can just look at this data versus having to go through the entire agreement, allowing them to process claims, respond to everybody involved, even create the communications to everybody, explaining what's happening and how to address it moving forward. So very powerful, but when people are retiring, this is a common issue where you just can't find the people to do what they once did. You'd be surprised at how many times this has happened and the service just kind of gets dismissed, doesn't get done, or falls apart, which can actually cause a lot of damage to the company. Now, services and development. Yeah, of course you want to have sales and you want to have customers, but how can we do more with the company? How can we get more done, especially when you're working with customers and you're saying, all right, we provided all that we can do. Is there anything else more that we can do with our existing customers? Because new customers cost a lot more to get than working with existing. So tapping into chatbots to now offer new services based on what you already do, allowing you to add more value to your customers, making the job easier for your employees, and ultimately getting more clients, sales, and improving your overall bottom line by offering new services that kind of tie into what you're already doing, or they may be completely new. I wish I can go into so many examples of kind of mine, but I do have one lined up for you guys I'm going to go through in a second. But you can also revisit existing solutions and ask for new approaches to that. So one specific one is if you are processing. So I have one client right now, which I'm going to his case study about. He wants to retire, and so to be able to have someone do what he does, we have to figure out what he does, recreate that process, and make it so that someone can come in and use the tools that we'll build for him, the workflows, the automations, the LLMs that have the intelligence that he would normally bring to the table. Now someone who is new, less experienced, can now potentially do that in his place, allowing him to, well, spend more time outside the business. Working with key staff to identify how to get these things done are really important. Like I said, tapping into Zapier, Make, Google Cloud for automation. There's a ton of ways to automate processes where one person would typically do this. Now it can be recreated for someone else. Same thing with training employees on how to use a chatbot to get things done. And to one specific example right now is I have a client who is looking for an exit strategy for his business. Once again, a workshop attendee. Initially, he's thinking, hey, how can I improve my business? And as we start to ask questions, I'm like, well, will somebody come in here and want to buy the business? We're doing an on-site consultation, an on-site training. And he wants to play more golf, but he's forced to be in the office more than he wants to be. And if he wants to sell this business, he's not going to get a cheap valuation because now the business is basically just him. He has one other person who kind of brings in leads, but it was all coming down to him. And I asked him, I said, listen, how can we recreate what you do? And he says, well, I provide this magic sauce that makes everything happen. I said, we need to identify and recreate that. So in sitting with him, his name is Manny, sitting with Manny, observing his processes, what does he do he's a mortgage consultant, to provide services to his clients, because when they come to him, they want to know, should I go with this particular option for funding or another? And a very specific solution or a challenge that he had was, there's a few of them, but I'm going to go into this one only. He had one client who was wanting to purchase a home in a new area here in my San Fernando Valley. It's called Porter Ranch. And as they were looking to buy a home in Porter Ranch, the question came up with, we can get our own financing, but they're offering an incentive of $30,000 if we use their financing. So the client was wanting to know, do we forfeit that $30,000 incentive if we come with our own financing? So the agreement was about 30 to 40 pages, and it would take roughly 20 minutes to kind of go through that, look for the right term, the right phrasing, the right vocabulary to identify the fact that, yes, it did clearly say, if you are going to bring your own financing and use any other financing options, you do forfeit this $30,000 incentive. So it sounded pretty clear and pretty straightforward. And as he went through it, he can find it. However, by being able to create the custom LLM, we did this in the workshop, where he's able to upload that agreement to his Google Drive, have ChatGPT review that agreement, and not just identify that particular fact, but also perform a strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat analysis, as well as a risk assessment against this and other agreements, so that he can make the right recommendation to his clients. So what this is going to do now is allow anybody who he hires to use this chatbot and the system that we're going to put in place to then take in this agreement, analyze it, ask relevant questions of the agreement for the client, even to provide a risk assessment. And one of the other elements was to identify an agreement that would allow for interruptions in payments, meaning sometimes things might be late and not have a huge penalty. So there's one agreement where you may have, hey, we'll give you this loan, it's going to be $3,000 a month. However, if you're ever late, it's going to go up to $4,500 a month as a penalty moving forward. Great for somebody who's always got the money and can just make sure the payments are on autopilot and they're never going to be late. However, if you're in another situation where sometimes you're late, you're a business, and the money can be funny and it can come a little slow, there could be a hiccup, you want to make sure that this gets paid. So you want to find an agreement that says, listen, if you're late, we get it. You have 5, 10 times, you pay a fee, but your rate does not go up until, say, 10. Or another one may say it will never go up. You'll just have to pay the late fee. These are important. We're making a recommendation because now you can understand, you can ask the right questions of the client, prepare their mindset for understanding these are potential components of an agreement that might cost you a lot of money later on. Make their recommendation for the right agreement, servicing those clients, and helping them get the right financing. But the key is to be able to have someone else be able to come in his place and provide that same service to clients under his management, so that when someone was coming to buy that company, they now know that he has a working solution for servicing his clients. Not just that, hey, man, we're looking for Manny. He's not here, so we're out of here. No, Manny is not the business. The business is the solution by creating the infrastructure. And that means emails. It could be researching laws. It could be researching opportunities. These are all processes that we'll be able to recreate and provide to any employee coming in, and then train them on how to use the tools. So as we begin to wrap up, we have just a couple minutes here. Question might be, well, how do we work with clients and how do we make all of these things happen? Because there's all kinds of ways to engage. And for one, we provide on-site consultations. We provide custom AI solutions like custom chatbots, custom LLMs, custom solutions. We also do individual and team training, really important for helping people understand how to take advantage of these new tools, as well as how to maximize any kind of productivity. And then special projects, as I mentioned earlier with Chris, where we will actually help our clients get things done and helping them accomplish their goals, especially when they don't have the internal resources to get that done. And so I want to thank everybody for your time and your attention today. As again, my name is Michael Bowers. My contact information is there on the screen. You scan the QR code, you scan and book an appointment with me to have a consultation. We can start with a phone call, then do on-site, a screen share, however you want to engage, we can engage. I am based here in Los Angeles, and we operate nationwide. We operate worldwide. We got clients all over the world, Latin America, all across North America, and we work with them and in providing solutions for finding ways you can optimize your operations, empower employees, take on new services, streamline your processes, all by tapping into not just AI, but sometimes other solutions that you can use AI to make that solution better. So once again, I appreciate you guys for sticking around, especially if you're here at this time. My name is Michael Bowers. We are HEED AI Consulting. Phone number 310-363. I already got a couple of messages during the call right now. You can also email me. Email is on the screen. Visit our website. We do have a chat bot that can engage with you, answer your questions. If you need a custom chat bot, which you all need. Every website I went to had information that they can provide to their clients or prospects, and they needed a way to engage. Didn't see too many of them. So once again, I appreciate everybody for sticking around and watching today. I am Michael Bowers. You can send me a direct message, email, or text, and we can make something happen. It's going to be a hot day today, so try to stay cool. In the meantime, thank you, and I will be in touch or look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.